Corgi. My Corgi. Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. And this is Tristan, he's a Corgi, and this is like episode 167 of Conversations with a Corgi. And I don't know about where it's like where other people are living, but we're in for another no sunshine day in New England. I have a tomato that's trying to ripen on my windowsill. We're getting so little sunshine. It's still totally green. Like in the summer, you leave one on the windowsill for 2 days and it's an orange tomato in no time. Not now. So it's a little depressing. And we also put our clocks back an hour. So for a lot of people watching us, it's 10:30, not 9:30. And I want to talk a little bit today about the effect of that time change on our animals. It used to be profoundly aware to me when there was a time change when I had a horse at my house, because they know when it's dinner time and at breakfast time, and if you are late, like by an hour or early an hour, it completely disrupts their day. Lots of horses colic around this time of year, and in the spring when we have the other time change, and my horse used to just take the time to walk right through his electric fence and start grazing on the lawn if his dinner was not out there as he expected. So, you do that half an hour time change thing with your animal for a couple days and then do 15 minutes more until you've got them caught up to the time change. For a lot of people, today meant that they got an extra hour of sleep. But it seems to me every year when we have a time change, I seem to get an hour behind in the fall, because there's so many things that you have to do that have been building up, and you think you have that extra time. Maybe you take a little more time relaxing, and then you don't get as much done as you thought. And I certainly, though the TED Talk is behind me, have a lot more to do. I have another talk on Tuesday night on a topic that's not my strong point, business. I would do better talking about technology than business, and that's saying something. So anyway, so we're getting ready for that, and we're going to have a rainy week here, which is kind of a good thing, I guess, for the plants. But I wanted to just tell you a few things today to remember about the time change. So on the East Coast, we're jumping ahead an hour. So when it's been 9 o'clock in the past, it's now 10 o'clock. And is that right? Yeah. So when I got up this morning, it was 5, and I got to stay in bed another hour to get up when it's 6, which to my body feels like 7. And for our pets, this can be a problem. They can really be thrown off with their diet. So many people on the Corgi Facebook pages lately have been saying, is anyone else's Corgi really regular and angry when dinner's not served on time if you're extra long at work, or somebody who's in charge of feeding the Corgi forgets, or if there's some other thing going on so that your Corgi doesn't get fed on time? And lots of people wrote in and said, oh yes, you can set a clock by the time that my Corgi is supposed to be eating dinner and breakfast. And so for my Corgi, he had a bit of a later breakfast than usual today, which meant a little more barking, saying, hurry up. And since he eats on his kitchen, it has to sit a little while to fluff in the water. It's a dehydrated raw food. And then he has his turkey added that Mommy cooks for him, and that was all ready. But, there was a little more impatience from the Corgi than usual this morning, which meant a little bit more barking. Now, the bigger problem is going to be at 4 o'clock when he usually eats dinner, and in his world, it will be 5 o'clock when it's 4 o'clock or something like that. And he will be confused, and I will have to persuade him that dinner is still coming. So actually, I guess he'll be okay, because it's going to be a little earlier so that it will match the morning breakfast. So I'm just reminding people to, vary your dog's schedule a little bit during the time change. Just squeak another half an hour earlier or later, depending on what your time change is, so that your dog can have a meal when he's expecting it and not be too upset because unlike horses, dogs don't colic, but a digestive upset can manifest in several unpleasant ways. So it's better to try to keep your dog on that schedule. Now, a lot of people have erratic schedules anyway, so their dog can eat anywhere between, some of my teacher friends, between 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock at night. So the time change isn't going to be so hard on them. But, in terms of, maybe you do your evening walk after you get home from work, it's now going to be dark for that walk. So I always have for my dogs, and there's a variety of different ones now, some kind of flashing light collar that they can wear. The flashing ones I think are a little disturbing to the dog. Sometimes it's just flashing at them. But it is really visible to cars, I have to say. And they also make ones now that are sort of like the things you wear at concerts that are just like an electric band that goes around their neck and lights up. And that's good because people can see that it's round and it's on your dog. And a lot of people often will use little reflector tape on a dog's blanket, or have a special blanket for this time of year so that people can see the car, can see the dog when they're coming by. Right, Tris? And I know people that have, who can sew, who have made little Velcro bands to put on a couple. He's falling off the chair arm. Trying to stand up here, Biss, and look out the window. I don't know. Little Velcro collars for the legs so that people can see electrical tape, electrical reflecting tape on the legs of their dog, which is a great thing to do. And especially if you're walking more than one dog. I think most people coming by with a car, they're okay when they see one dog. But if you have like a greyhound and then you're also walking a chihuahua, you really want to make sure that chihuahua is visible because people might not see that there's two dogs there. And certainly on my road, most people slow down and go in the other lane. But I have a lot of people that think I should run my dog up into the bushes and the woods where I don't even know what the footing is so that they can fully be in their lane of the road. And that's just plain rude driving and not being very courteous of the pedestrians. And given the many pedestrians that are hit by cars every year, you'd think people would be a little more cautious. So just be as safe as you can and put the reflecting tape on your dog's collar. A lot of collars, a couple of his have reflecting tape on them, and use reflecting tape on a blanket for your dog to wear if you have to walk a lot after dark on roads. And really take advantage of your weekend time to get your dog some time to really run and enjoy himself on the pathways and trails in your area so that they can enjoy some running, which they're not going to have so much of if people are getting home from work when it's dark. And it's not that bright in the morning, I've got to say. The change with the light morning was still dark enough. I had to turn lights on at 6 o'clock, which was 7 o'clock. So just be attuned to your animals' physical changes with the time change. And Tristan, I guess you'll be having dinner early because when it's 3 o'clock, it'll be 4 o'clock. And that's when you usually eat. So he'll be okay with that. I might make him eat a little bit later than that to give me some leeway. So I'm exhausted. I am finding the weeks of preparing for the TED Talk are finally catching up with me, and I just am so tired. And trying to catch up on sleep is never my best trick, and I still have tons of work to do. I haven't cleaned the house for a couple of weeks. That's been gradually getting done. It feels much better in here now. And spending more time with my Corgi. Since it was his birthday, he got new squeakies, and we've been playing a lot of squeaky time. I like the new squeaky. Yeah, you do. So everybody, just be mindful of the time change for your pet in terms of walking and feeding and their schedule adjusting as well. They don't know that the time changed. They're still on their original schedule, and they'll gradually change over the winter. And I know myself in the summer, I tend to be working in the yard at 7 at night and start a project at 5 o'clock. And then in the winter, 5 o'clock, it's dark out. It feels like it's bedtime. No projects, rarely starting at that hour of day in the winter. But it's a good time for me. Usually I do a lot of writing in the winter. I'm working on several projects right now that I'm hoping I will get wrapped up in the next few weeks. I do have to go to the Equus Film Festival in New York City in 2 weeks, and I will be there, I think, for 3 days with my book. So that will take some time away from some of my other projects. And I think Tristan will be there again, right, Tris? We have to find an Airbnb or somewhere to stay in New York. I think I'm supposed to be at these panels from like 12 to 6, Friday and Saturday. So it'll be another trip away, but it was fun last year, and I'm sure it will be fun this year. And I have made some great connections through the films at the Equus Film Festival in New York. So check that out. If you live in New York City or near that area and can swing in for a day, the Equus Film Festival has really great offerings. So we don't have much to say today. Like I said, I'm exhausted. I have so much to do this morning. I need to start doing it. So just be mindful of the time change with your dogs. Most of them have probably already had breakfast by now, and they're going to be like Tristan, having an early dinner. You can't balance on that arm. It's so slippery, honey. You worry about the Corgi. And be really careful walking your pets after dark. That's really hard. You know, drivers also have to adjust to the time change and coming home in the dark after work when it's been light. Even though it's been kind of foggy and lowly lit here, it's still been sunny out. So just be aware the drivers are struggling as well. So try to keep yourself and your pets safe with the time change. And for all those little kids that now get to have light when they go off to school in the morning, yay for you. That's why they invented this time change. So we have our job as an educator Monday and Tuesday this week, I think, and we will be back with another episode of Conversations with a Corgi on Wednesday. And we will at some point be continuing our look at some of the different alternative medicine modalities that you might consider for your pet. Thanks for joining us today. This Corgi is poised to spring to get a snack after his conversations with a Corgi time. I know. Don't stand on that arm again. You'll slide off, sweetie. What did you roll in yesterday? You don't smell so good. Tristan may have to get another bath pretty soon. He's a little stinky. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple days. Have a great day, and make sure your pet is adjusted to the time change with his dinner and his walking. We'll see ya. Have a great day.